Funding for what I do is provided in part by my generous supporters on Patreon, and by direct donations from viewers like you. Thank you! Heyo, Kelvin here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own levels in SuperTux Advanced. So, what you need for this to work is the tiled map editor, which you can get at mapeditor.org, and of course you'll need a copy of SuperTux Advanced. Now in tiled, in the game's main folder, you'll go to res, map, and then you will select template.json. And this will have all the tiled sets that you need to get started built right in. Now, currently, at the time of this recording, non-embedded maps are currently not supported. So you will need to embed any new tile sets that you add to your map. So, first, what you want to do is go to Solid. It's the tile layer up here. And you'll use the solid tile set, and this is used to give the level collision geometry. So you'll just draw some lines here. Maybe add some slopes. And yeah, this is enough just to test it out. So now you need to tell the game where the player is going to begin. For that, you'll come here into the actor's tile set, and up here on the actor object layer, you're going to select this, and you're going to use the insert tile object. You'll come in here, hold Control to snap to the grid, and place the player down. And this lets the game know where to set the player. I'm using a tile set for these instead of individual image files because it makes editing faster. It just means that they're going to be a little bit disorganized because some of them were added at different times. And so if it looks a bit, scattered, disorganized, unfortunately that's just the way it is. It can only be sorted in the order it was added. But since the alternative is having to look up an image file every time you want to add something, this just seemed like the easier way to do it. So the game will handle what to create for any of these. So you can make a player, you can select this, put some death caps down. Not every actor has to be aligned to the grid. You can have them, just anywhere you want. However, block objects do have to be assigned to snap to the grid. The reason why is because they don't actually use a proper hitbox for their solid collision detection. They just change the tile ID that is in the position that they're at, and when they're destroyed, they set it back to whatever it was before. So, for instance, if I put one here, this slope will be treated as a full square. But when the box is destroyed, it'll go back to being a slope. Now to give your level some appearance, we'll go into foreground, and let's start with grass. Just select tiles from here, place them on. Put that in. And there we go, we've got some visuals. Now the foreground is what shows up in front of all the actors. Midground and background show up behind them. Midground allows you to do, like different layering stuff with the tiles so that it's not just a single tile, for a single graphical tile for every tile of space. So that allows you to do better level decorations and stuff. Now, you can't have too many tiles because at the time of this recording, there is a weird issue where if your map exceeds roughly 6 or so megabytes in size, it will crash the game. And I don't know why. So it just causes a segmentation fault, so it doesn't give me any information. I've been hunting this down for a very long time. But you can actually go pretty large. As long as you don't add any extra layers, you can go pretty large without exceeding that limit. So best recommendation, stay 5 and below. But now you've got these other layers here. Water, trigger, secret, and then you've got 2 secret layers. You got the object layer and you've got the tile layer. The object layer is used for creating zones. So let's say I do this, right? Now this is a secret. This box will disappear when Tux walks into it. Now I'm going to give it some graphics. I'll come here to the secret tile layer, and I will fill this in with a box of dirt. So this giant block of dirt will disappear. Any tiles that are under a secret zone will fade away when the secret is revealed. And you can have more complex shapes. They don't have to be a rectangle. In order to do this, what you'll do is on the secret layer, you'll have adjacent rectangles, and then you will use a line and just connect them all. Doesn't matter where the line is specifically, it doesn't have to be dead center. I just did that for looks, but as long as each vertex is in a secret zone, it will join them all together and it will treat them all as a single secret. So I can put some extra tiles here, like I can just put this and this. And all of these will disappear. So now we've got a level. This is just a test level. We're going to get into more stuff that you can do with this in a bit. Oh, of course your level needs to end. If this is going to be a regular standard level, it needs to be able to end. So come over here to goal. On the foreground, draw the forward. And then on either mid or background, draw that. And now, you're going to come here to trigger. Select rectangle, and make a rectangle this big. Now triggers, when you put code in the name, they will execute that code. The reason why I put it in the name is so that you can see it on the editor here. See, like, I just go and it shows up over here. So what we're going to do for this, we're going to type in end goal parentheses. If you're making a time attack, you'll put the name of the next level, and that way it'll know to launch it as soon as this level closes when you're doing a time attack. But we're not making one of those at the moment, so we're just going to leave this empty. And this way it will know to make the player walk forward and, you know, play the little wind music. So next thing we do is we need to actually make... Oh, first off, I need to undo all of this because I just accidentally saved it in my template. So, okay. We're going to redo all of this. Now we're going to save in our own new world. Heck, I did that one. Keyboard shortcuts. What is it? Control-Alt-S. Everything else uses Control-Shift-S. I'm gonna admit that's kind of annoying. So, okay. Okay. Control-Alt-S. There we go. So you're gonna come up in here. You're gonna go to Contrib, create a new folder. And let's just call this test. And this file we are going to name testmap.json. And make sure you use the JSON file extension. Alright, so how do we play it? Well, we can do it like this. In the game, press tilde to open the console, and do start play contrib testmap.json. And ta-da! Now you'll notice that the background has not changed, and neither has the music. But that's okay. So you see, the secret disappears. All of those disappeared at once. These are breakable. And moonwalk, because I love to. Now by default, it's going to kick you back out because you haven't actually set it up to run a different world, which is what we're going to do now. So back in here, I'm going to come back into these standard maps, and we're going to go to template overworld. And what we're going to do here is we're going to come in here to overworld. We're going to select all these animated waters. That's all of them? Okay. And we're going to hit D so that it randomizes. F. And now we have a big animated ocean. Come here to terrain sets. I'm going to select grass. We're just going to make a chunk of grass. Doesn't really matter how it looks. At least not for the test. Now we're going to come back here into tile sets, and on the actor layer, we're going to make our player here. We're going to have our test level here. And we're going to name it test map so that it knows which file to load. And of course, where is it? There it is. Take that off. There we go. Little road connecting the player. Now, we have to go to solid, and with solid on the overworld, it's actually inverted. You're going to use the regular square, and you're going to use it to draw a line, and this creates a path. And this is what the player is able to follow on the overworld. So we're going to come in here. In our world, we're going to save this as test overworld.json. Now, up here, go to map and then select properties. And in here is code. This is code that runs whenever you launch the map. So for here, it's just playing the regular overworld music. But over here, in our test map, let's do the same, map properties. You got code here. You can have it play different music. You can have it set the background. And this code will run once. I really should have named it init, but, you know, wasn't thinking ahead at the time, because there's also run, which was recently added, and this will run every frame. So you can have this, you know, check special conditions and change things around. And then, of course, author here. And we're just going to put your name. Put whatever you want there. That lets you sign the level so that people know who made it. Next, we need to add a few things to our contrib world. Let's use some of these as a template. So you have script.nut and info.json. And these are your important ones. Oh, this too, text.json. These are important. So copy all of these over into here, and we're going to begin editing these. Zoom this in so y'all can see better. So first, info. We're going to name this my test world. Test world. So world map just lets it know which world map to launch. You can have multiple world maps, just only name the one that this one starts out in. And then of course name is how it will appear in the game menu. So watch, we'll launch the game and go to contrib levels and ta-da, my test world. Actually, let's try it out now. Go to my test world and ta-da! Now, you see it crashed? That's because it doesn't know the name of the level. You have to come in here into text, and you have to name the level. So we're going to get rid of all these because we only have one. We're going to change this to test map. That's the map's ID. And file name, it matches the file name. Call this my test level. And then there's the script. Now you can put any code that you want here. For instance, free conky if you want conky to be playable from the start. Now, come here. My test world. Ta-da! My test level. Author your name. And there you go. You have a working level. Now let's make some changes to it. Let's say you want a swimming pool. We're going to put a little swimming pool up here. So we're going to take this and we're just gonna that'll work. And then in the foreground, we will do this. Oops, too tall. Let's see. Where is that particular tile? Unfortunately, I haven't got auto tiling set up for these, but auto tiling doesn't work with, one tile thick anyway in tiled. At least not, correctly most of the time. So it is this one. Okay. And then this one over here. And then we're just gonna connect these. And now to make water. Come up here to your water layer. Rectangle, and it'll make a blue rectangle. And this one should be aligned to the grid as well. So hold Control when you make it. And fill this in, and have it overlap on either side. And ta-da! You have a little area to swim in. Of course, it's recommended that you do something like this. In the background, fill that in. Otherwise, you're just going to have an empty back that, it looks like water should be spilling out of. But there you go. That's how you make water. And we can make a ladder up to it. So let's come over here. I'm gonna take this, put you up there, make that solid. And here we're going to have the ladder, which is the green one here. Let me pull this out so you can see it. It's this green one here. We're just going to make that go all the way down to here. And on the background, I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to take this one down to here. And at the very end, here. And now the player can climb up. And so now you have a working test level and a world. And you can do the same with additional levels. You can just put these anywhere, connect them with solid tiles. Now there's a few other things to let you know about. First off, this little ship icon lets you go to a different world map. You'll put the name of the world map file without .json. This igloo makes a town. Works the same as a level, except that it does not check if anything is cleared before allowing you to pass. The lock icon can be used to make a blocked off area, which we will go into in the next tutorial. And then the gear. The gear is a very special tool. It's also found in the regular map here. So what this does is you'll put it in your actors, and you'll give it a name, and the name will be the exact name as it appears in code. So let's say, go to enemies, and let's say I wanted to make a death cap. So you would put this code exactly, capital D and everything, death cap, into here. This gear will allow you to create custom classes and put them in your maps. So if you've got, say, custom enemies or other characters and stuff, special items, anything at all, you can put this in here, and with comma separated values, you can give it arguments. So some actors require arguments, make sure that you pass those along with them. And yeah, that's about it. So I will be going into more stuff in the next tutorial, but for now, I hope that this has been helpful for anyone who wants to get started with making levels for SuperTux Advanced, and let me know what else you want to know how to do, and I'll try to include it in the next tutorial. As always, thank you all so much for your support, thank you for watching all the way through, and I hope that you will join me next time. Bye!